Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've got some selections for tomorrow. Hopefully we can have a few winners, and there's all different reasons for those. I think I've spotted a few, and let's start off looking at the 115 at Kempton, a 2 mile 5 handicap hurdle. Now it's very similar to the Lanzarote hurdle, but in my opinion an easier race. And to be honest, on the back of that, we were on Nemean Lion and Samuel Spade in the Lanzarote hurdle. They finished 2nd and 10th. I think it's an easier race, and I don't see why we shouldn't go for Samuel Spade again. I just felt he got overawed by the situation last time out, but hopefully that will have taught him plenty. And they could have come to plenty of other races, but they clearly like Kempton. You know, he's got some decent form at Kempton. He has won here. He's won on soft ground as well. Maybe he actually wants this softer going. He disappointed on soft in the Boodles, and also you could kind of suggest he did again behind Alberico Lord, Beau Balco and Jupiter de Gite at Stratford. However, that race has worked out pretty strong. Yeah, maybe now back onto a softer surface as a 5-year-old, that can bring out a bit more and get him back to going forward again. You know, he was very impressive for me when he won at Taunton, and he only looked like he was getting going towards the end of the race. And I think that was a good enough run to suggest he should have been able to hold his own in the Lanzarote. He didn't, but as I said, I think this is an easier race, and the fact that you're getting a very similar price about him, you're actually getting a slightly bigger price about him here compared to the Lanzarote hurdle, which is quite nice. An interesting thing about this race, there's a few course and distance or course winners in this race, and if we have a look, they are let's use this as the example. Okay, oh, I'm not showing the ratings, so I can't show you, but I can tell you. So most of those with course form, Mark of Gold, big price. No Ordinary Joe, definitely I can't see him wanting to win this race. Surely he's not trying. Sam Spade, Boombound, decent prices. You know, I really think Kempton can be a horses for courses course. And the fact that those near the top of the market haven't proven themselves at Kempton, whereas those towards the bigger prices certainly have, yeah, I'm quite keen to take on the ones at the head of the market here, and I'm a big fan of Samuel Spade. I think there's still more to come from him. I think he's a bit like Bad, and hopefully his bad run was last time, and he can demonstrate that actually he is quite well handicapped in a race of this quality instead of like the Lanzarote. As I said, you can get a better price about him than I thought you would. You can get 14s about Samuel Spade. We move on to the 208 at Newcastle, the Ida Chase, and there's two that I've narrowed this down to. Two horses that I'm a big fan of, and I've plumped for one of those. And those two were the Galloping Bear and Major Dundee. Now, I like Major Dundee. I think the horse is a real good staying chaser, and if you actually took out his last run, I think it would have been a lot shorter price for this race. You know, he has won a Midlands National. He's also finished 3rd in a Scottish National behind Win My Wings and Kitty's Light. He was 5 lengths behind Kitty's Light that day. The horse I'm going to go for also finished 2nd behind Kitty's Light, and that was the Galloping Bear. The Galloping Bear finished 2nd in this race last year behind Kitty's Light. Kitty's Light was winning that day off a mark of 132, and that was his first of 3 wins before in the season. He won the Ida Chase, he won the Scottish National, and he won the Bet365 Gold Cup, and he's a big player in the Grand National if he gets in this year. That moved him from a mark of 132 to 146. The Galloping Bear runs here off 140. The exact same mark as what he did last year, and actually the jockey takes 5 off as well. Joe Anderson, who did that miraculous recovery aboard Transmission earlier on in the season, takes the ride, takes £5 off. They were clear of the rest last year. They were clear of No Cruise Yet, Divas Oscar, Rath Anri Arur, and I don't see any reason why the Galloping Bear doesn't run a huge race again. He's got some really good form over these marathon trips, and yeah, I'm quite keen on the Galloping Bear, who will love the heavy going. I mean, that's the sort of ground he wants. He wants it as bad as it can be, to be honest. Last year in this race, it was good to soft. He actually wants the soft and heavy, and yet he still ran a really good race last season on better going than what he probably wants. So I'm quite keen on the Galloping Bear here, and we can currently get, where is he? We can currently get 9-1 about him, the Galloping Bear. Moving on to the 227 at Kempton, the Pendles Novices Chase. I'm a big fan of that Tamuras Krabilli form. I think Krabilli is well handicapped, and on a line through that, I know this isn't a handicap. I think Tamuras ran a really good race last time out to nearly beat the horse, who I think is probably going to be rated 150 at the end of the season. With that in mind, I wouldn't put Tamuras that far behind that, probably about 148. And on that would actually make him, on official ratings, I'm saying that's what he could get up to. On official ratings, he could be £1 worse on official ratings than Le Patron, but he's getting £5 because of the conditions of this race. In terms of the other horses, I think he's rated about, if I say he's 148, Blow Your Wad is only 140, and Pembroke is 143 and surely aimed at a handicap. Soul Icon shouldn't be good enough for 133, and Arclight I also don't think will be good enough. And with that in mind, Paul Nicholls loves this race. He's won it, I think, 13 times. It is a race that he does really well in, and I think Tamuras will take all of the beating here at 100 to 30. The trip is fine. He kind of has that 2.5 mile ability. Probably doesn't want any further than that. But the Kempton 2.5 mile makes it that it should easily be within his reach of distances. So Tamuras is my selection in that race. We then go to Chepstow for a Temps qualifier, and I'm hoping I've spotted the right one here. So I like 3 in the race, but I'm hoping that 2 of them will not be trying. The 3 that I like, I suppose you could say there's 5. I think there's 5 with the chance I'll probably name all these 5 and none of them will win it now. So the 5 that I think have the best chances: Walking on Air, Thanks for the Help, Supremely West, Manila Blueway and Montmirail. Now Montmirail is rated 139 and this is a Temps qualifier. So if he qualifies by finishing the top 4, he gets into the final off 139. He would get in. Similarly, Walking on Air, 139 would also get in. There's no reason for them to be trying to win the race. You know, are they going to be able to win this type of race and then go and win a Temps final? Probably not. So then I've tried to look at those horses that are lower in the handicap that probably need to get in. So my last week's angle was Lord Snooty needed to win to get in. Went really close, went odds on in the run. Actually got beat by a horse who didn't need to win. I'm hoping we do one. We swap it around this time. We beat a horse that didn't need to win, and I'm hoping that form line there with Cuthbert Dibble is the strong form line, because the horse we're going for is Supremely West, who finished second last time out over 2 miles 3.5 furlongs behind Cuthbert Dibble, when appearing to get badly outpaced. So the step up and trip to 3 miles should really suit him. He was miles clear. Supremely West was miles clear of the rest that day. So he's probably ran a really good race himself. Cuthbert Dibble obviously came out and won that day off 125, has since won off 133, is now rated 139, so he's up £14. Whereas Supremely West, bizarrely, has dropped £1 for finishing second to Cuthbert Dibble. Luke Scott also takes £5 off. He's running off a £6 lower mark than when he ran a really good race last time out. But does he just have last time out form? Well, no. He's won on heavy at Carlisle over 2 miles 3 runs ago. But 2 runs ago, he actually took on a horse called Bugsy Seagull in it looked like a normal novice's hurdle. And he got beat. He was disappointing, potentially. He looked like he got outpaced again over 2.5 miles. The winner, Bugsy Seagull, had previously won a novice hurdle and has since come out and finished third, a good third, in the Sydney Branks, the listed race, behind Handstands and Django Bay. Django Bay had won a Tolworth, and Handstands, Ben Pauling really believes is one of the best horses he's got or had for a long time. So the fact that Bugsy Seagull was able to run them relatively close, maybe that what appeared a very disappointing effort from Supremely West, being well beaten by Bugsy Seagull, giving him £4, was actually a very good effort. I think he's just bumped into horses I think the step up and trip will really suit him. And I think he looks very well handicapped off 115, an essential 115 with Luke Scott taking 5 off. So that is my selection in this race. Let me just refresh the odds. You can currently see he's available at 15-2. I imagine we'll see about that 7s in a lot of other places as well. And my final selection will be in the feature race. It's worth 85 grand to win this, and yet it didn't even get a full field. Very disappointing. Poor placement from trainers. And I'm going to take on Phlegmatic, and I'm also going to take on one of our other horses that we really have liked. I'm going to leave out Captain just because I wonder whether being £8 out of the handicap, an essential 5 with Tristan taking 3 off, might just be too much. The horse who I do think is well handicapped though, and has got probably the best form in the race, is the one who's being backed and is now favourite. It's Blackjack Magic. He is the right favourite at 5s. He was a bigger price earlier this week. Hopefully you did see some of my tweets about him. 3 runs ago he won the Badger Beers, beating 3 under through 5. 3 under through 5 has obviously run well since, winning the Ascot race last week, the Swinley Chase. 2 runs ago, Blackjack Magic finished 4th. Should have finished 3rd. He made a couple of mistakes and would actually have beaten Phlegmatic comfortably if he had not made a mistake at the last. That was behind Victorino and Yearman. Obviously, Yearman's come out and won since. Victorino's come out and... Did he come out and win again, or was that his second win of 2? That was his second win. It's just such strong form. I want to forgive Blackjack Magic that 1 run last time. I thought he made a few too many mistakes under Rex Dingle. But he was still there, actually, turning 4 home at Sandown. I think the real eye-catching thing, Sam Twiston-Davies has been booked to ride. And I can show you that on here, I think. I can't actually, because I haven't got the ratings visible, because this is for everybody. Sam has a very, very good record at this track. This is a track that he does ride well. They actually won it last year. They beat Phlegmatic last year. Sam Twiston-Davies did on Our Power. I think he can do it again on Blackjack Magic. And he is currently available at 11-2. You can get 6s just if you're quick. I will try and get this video out as soon as possible. So they are my selections for tomorrow. I'm going for Sam Spade to bounce back in what I think is an easier version of the Lanzarote Hurdle. The Galloping Bear to demonstrate that second last season off the same mark, essentially off a £5 higher mark, because of the jockey claim. Behind Kitty's Light was very, very good form. Tamuras, I think this is a perfect track and trip. I think some of the others are handicappers. Supremely West got beat by a very well handicapped horse last time and got beat by a graded horse the time before that. And Blackjack Magic, his form is very strong. If he jumped the last Kempton Ascot 2 runs ago with any sort of momentum, he would have beaten Phlegmatic. He's actually better off with Phlegmatic, and I think that's probably one of the biggest dangers in the race. Phlegmatic and Captain are the 2 dangers to Blackjack Magic, but I'm hoping Blackjack Magic comes out on top.